Tánaiste, in relation to Irish water, the plot thickens every day. It's like a cure searching for a remedy. As Phil Hogan said, normally you have to crack a few eggs to make an omelette. In the instance of Irish water and the entity you put in place, they're making omelettes before they crack eggs. This day last week you were asked specific questions about the bonus scheme in Irish water. And you didn't answer the question at all. Tánaiste informed the House on October the 7th that there would be no bonus scheme or payments in Irish water, even though we're led to believe you had reports to government in 2012 which specifically outlined the very schemes pertaining to Bord Gáis and subsequently Irish water. On Monday, Ministers Jan O'Sullivan and Alan Kelly said that the bonus scheme would be dealt with when the new board was appointed. We were then told on Tuesday that the same Minister Kelly was going to meet the CEO and he'd tell him a few home truths. However, after those home truths, Mr Tierney arrived out after the meeting yesterday and he said his staff are doing a fantastic job. They deserved their bonuses in the bonus scheme that was within Irish water. And then again, at another juncture during Tuesday, Taoiseach informed the House that he didn't believe that anyone who underperforms should be given a bonus or performance pay in the first place. Tánaiste, do you agree that the staff in Irish water are doing a fantastic job, considering it was your policy direction of you and your government which determined their very performance? And do you think they are entitled or should receive bonuses?
Thank you. Tánaiste.
Well, what I do think is that the development of Irish water and the employment of staff in Irish water is akin for our times of the establishment of the ESB shortly after the foundation of the state, when it was pretty unpopular probably with people like yourself at that time, but subsequently people like you became great defenders. Just let me say, in the discussion last week with Micheál Martin, your leader, with Deputy Martin, he asked basically, as well as about the bonuses, what would be the cost of going back to the 34 local authorities having separate water structures, and what would be the cost of taking the current structure of Irish water back onto the balance sheet? So just let me say, in terms of taxpayers and in terms of citizens of the country, we want a water system which is efficient and effective. The cost of doing what Fianna Fáil now appears to want to do is very significant. Taking it off balance sheet, as you seem to be suggesting, although I know in reality you're holding a range of options, would initially cost 600. The revenues raised would be a further 300, and the commitment in terms of the capital investment, which I think everybody on all sides of the House agrees is absolutely vital, would cost another 1.7 billion over a 3-year period. So in other words, what you're saying to taxpayers, and I want this message to go out to taxpayers, is that the cost of what you're proposing on Irish water would put a burden in terms of taxpayers in Ireland back onto their shoulders, because ultimately they're the people who pay the taxes, of £2.5 billion. And what I'm saying to you is that Fianna Fáil hasn't costed its options at all. You're making, and I have to say, I think if there has been an area that's disappointing in relation to Irish water, and I understand the frustrations and the concerns of people that you and other members of your party have highlighted in the private members, I think that the timeline for Irish water was certainly too ambitious, because it is an undertaking as big as the ESB for our times to bring together 34 separate authorities, and most importantly, for instance, through the investment that I've just spoken about, to ensure that by the new year, the people of Roscommon will be able to actually use the water from their taps and have a glass of water from their tap.
Thank you.
Now, that's not to be sneezed at. In relation to the issue of how the staff are paid, the Taoiseach is on record, as you said, and so are others. This is going to be a matter which will be dealt with by the Airvia board. I don't anticipate any bonus payments in the context, Deputy, of the set-up period. A bonus is a reward for work that's done. We are very much in the set-up period, and in any event, it's a structured payment in relation to salaries, which actually forgoes increments. So when the scheme was designed, it was actually designed, as you well know, because you've seen the documentation, it's in the public domain, to actually save money.
Deputy Cowen, 1 minute. Thank you.
Thanks for your answer. Unfortunately, it wasn't an answer to the question I asked. I didn't ask you to reassure the House or to give any further detail about the costs associated with putting this bonus-driven, gold-plated super quango in place, or the 700 million you've spent to date without fixing a pipe in the ground around the country yet. I didn't ask you that. I asked you, what did you think of the bonus system that is in Irish Water today? And the answer you've given me eventually, having gone round the houses, is that you don't think that maybe there shouldn't have been any such payments during the set-up period. What do you think? I'm going to ask you again, ask you directly. Do you agree with them or don't you? Do you agree with them during the set-up? Do you agree with them when they're set up and in place and robbing Peter? It's a very simple fact you're going to have to answer. Be honest and answer the question directly. Will the bonus scheme go ahead, or will the government succumb to the pressure that I've heard from your backbenchers and from the Fine Gael backbenchers in the last hour when we were debating our motion? They're blaming the government. They're blaming you. They're blaming you and your colleagues in government.
Thank you.
For allowing this and putting this in place, because you did do that, whether you like it or not. And I'm asking you now, do you agree with what you did? And do you agree with it into the future? Are you going to do something about it? Because if you're not, let's be clear about it. Because those backbenchers need to know, because they need to withdraw their support for you and your government, if that's what they think about you.
Tánaiste.
Well,
Let's hear the reply.
you know, the audacity of Fianna Fáil to forget that they agreed. At the time, you probably have wiped it from your memory, and I can understand why.
Sorry.
At the time that the Troika came into Ireland, you guys, you're all guys, decided to sign off. You decided, and I see Sinn Féin are all guys today as well. So, Maureen, Joan, just to say, when you guys signed off, you agreed with the Troika that there was going to be a comprehensive change in relation to water in Ireland, in line with every other European country. And you agreed a flat rate charging arrangement or something like that, which came out at €400 per household. All of your previous spokespersons have agreed that that's what happened. But you changed your mind. Now, in relation to Irish Water, to do what you're now proposing, which is to take the company out and put it back to taxpayers, you're talking about a cost of €2.5 billion. You have a secondary point. You have a second.
Sorry, please.
I'm just saying.
Sorry, Tánaiste, we're over time.
Let me give you an analogy. The tax package in the budget and the spending package are each £500 million, but you're casually, without thinking, saying to the taxpayers, and here's another debt cost per annum of £2.5 billion.
Thank you.
The bonuses will be dealt with by the board of Erbia. I do not anticipate any bonus payments until such time, or any enhancement payments, or whatever other kind of management speak title is used on the payments. I do not anticipate anything like that being paid at all, Deputy, until such time as the company is operational. What I do know, though, at the moment is people in Roscommon will have drinking water by the new year, and I certainly know in Dublin there's a huge amount of very good work being done by Irish Water to actually upgrade the facilities in Dublin in relation to clean water. We need that, Deputy, for people, we need it for tourism, we need it for business.